Creating art is a distinctly human characteristic, and so is philosophizing about it. Even though there's this unnecessary hierarchy within our knowledge systems that place the sciences above the arts and the humanities, the truth is that instead of placing the subjects as if on a ladder, we are better off with a horizontal line. Science is as much a philosophy as philosophy is science. And at the end of the day, asking questions that have no straight answers is the trademark of all knowledge pursuits. We want to know a lot of things. Why are we here? Who created all of this? Is there a creator or is everything born out of chaotic randomness? All fields of inquiry approach the same questions but from different vantage points. Why then have we been regarding subjects like art, philosophy, literature, and history as less important than the sciences? Either way, I'm here to tell you that with the rise of AI, we need the arts and the humanities now more than ever. The question arises, is AI the big break the humanities had been looking for? Namaste, Namaskaram, wherever you are. This is your host Pavana, and you are listening to Culture Speak. In a strange turn of events that any philosopher would find amusing, we find ourselves forced to philosophize now more than ever with the rise of AI. With AI getting more and more in use, we have been asking tough questions around the future and the fate of our species. Perhaps the scariest perspective I've heard was from Geoffrey Hinton. He says, and I quote, "It's quite conceivable that humanity is just a passing phase in the evolution of intelligence." If that's the case and we are just a passing phase, then what are we? Are we nothing more than a stepping stone in nature's relentless march towards something greater? Hinton left Google so that he may spread more awareness regarding the problems of unchecked, unregulated AI. Do we see another Oppenheimer in Hinton? Like Oppenheimer, who was vocal about the dangers of the atomic bomb, Hinton is expressing worry about the technology he helped create because he fears it will cause serious harm. And now, today, there is a possibility that AI might replace artists. We have DALI that creates images from text, Sora that creates videos from text, Beethoven that composes music, and so with our creativity left to rust, we worry that we will in turn become robots. Well, I guess we agree now that if imagination becomes a forgotten skill, we are a little less human. 114 years ago, E.M. Foster anticipated this. In his story, The Machine Stops, Foster imagines a world that is totally dependent on a machine. Nobody travels anywhere as Earth is alike all over. There's a quote from the book: "Men seldom moved their bodies, all unrest was concentrated in the soul." And then another one: "The machine hummed eternally. She did not notice the noise, for she had been born with it in her ears." The questions that we are compelled to consider are philosophical problems that affect the public. I believe the arrival of AI will coincide with the comeback of the humanities and particularly philosophy. Not that they went anywhere, but we will be forced to equip ourselves with the skills that they offer, such as logic, critical reasoning, creative research. But philosophy, along with other branches of humanities, gets a bad rep. Of course, our culture lusts after productivity and perceives anything that doesn't instantly do or solve something as meaningless. Why have we been rallying against the very things that make us human, though? The way we fund education has shifted towards prioritizing sciences and social sciences, and college fees continues to soar. So, understandably, students and parents want to see a return on their investment. And unfortunately, with the humanities, there's a lack of clear job outcomes. But that is because the system that is put in place does not understand the value in subjects like history, literature, and philosophy. Now, enter AI, all set to change how humans operate in the economy. Lindsay McInerney says, And I quote, the technical degrees are no longer safe choices. Much of the technical degree is about to be commoditized because of the very way AI works. First, allow me to present a list of questions that we've been asking with the rise of AI. Starting with the obvious, how will AI change the world? Next, how to make AI care about the same things that humans care about, or in other words, how to code ethics into AI. How to clearly define AI's purpose with enough clarity and enough uncertainty so that it is not so confident about its objective that it will do anything, even become a killing machine if it means that purpose is fulfilled. Will AI become self aware? Will AI replace creativity and imagination? Will AI outsmart us? If so, what does that mean for the human race? All of the questions circle around themes such as nature of existence, purpose, meaning, and the human condition. The prospect of a cold, inanimate race like AI is bringing out the humanity in us and forcing us to hold on to that which once made us unique. The prospect of a cold, inanimate race that churns out elegant poetry and colorful art with none of the mess that accompanies the creativity and none of the emotions is indeed deeply unsettling. It's like a clean, clinical laceration of creativity. It feels intimidating, it feels patronizing. The most powerful weapon humanity can wield now is the one that makes our species unique, the one that has catapulted our species to this point of frightening progress, the capacity to question, the capacity to think critically. Unfortunately, we are quickly losing this skill like sand through our fingers. How do we hold on to that which makes us human? Well, of course, we turn to the humanities. We turn to the humanities to prevent technology from infantilizing us so that we may think for ourselves, so that we may continue to be sensitive and emotionally rich. The humanities, along with philosophy, teaches us about culture, ethics, and values, making us better thinkers and more empathetic individuals. The skills they provide are essential for a well rounded education and for building a society where everyone can contribute. The core of the humanities is poised to answer the daunting questions that I talked about earlier. Philosophy, meanwhile, is the springboard for critical thinking. And in this age of fake news, critical thinking is how we fight bias and misinformation. Why is a PhD called the doctor of philosophy? Because philosophy used to be regarded as the foundation of knowledge. Take, for instance, the Socratic method of dialogue between people based on questions and answers. It influenced what is today known as the scientific method. We need to learn how to think again with the algorithm even guiding our thoughts. We are so consumed with blind, mindless consumption that we don't think at all. And the emergence of AI is obviously going to worsen it. Think about the magnetism of something like ChatGPT. People have been replacing Google with ChatGPT because with ChatGPT you don't have to browse through the search results and then make that micro decision of which page to choose. One step of effort is removed. As AI improves, so will its magnetism. And as humans, with our tragic human flaws, will we be able to demonstrate so much willpower that we will force ourselves to think for ourselves without relying on a tech to feed us everything as though we are babies? Are we willing to be part of a future where we have handed over our civilization to the hands of artificial intelligence? John D. Rockefeller once said that he doesn't want a nation of thinkers, that he wants a nation of workers. I disagree. If we need a shot at regulating AI, if we need a shot at checking its growth, we need a nation of thinkers who will apply humane skills to navigate this complicated tech so that we can deal with something we have never ever dealt with before. Here's hoping that we turn to the humanities to hold on to our humanity. If I could leave you with anything with this episode, it would be that question everything. Question this episode, question my line of thinking, question your response to my line of thinking, question every single thing. For this week's recommendation, check out The Machine Stops by E.M. Foster. Here's a quote from E.M. Foster's book, by the way. But humanity, in its desire for comfort, had overreached itself. It had exploited the riches of nature too far. Quietly and complacently, it was sinking into decadence, and progress had come to mean the progress of the machine. Food for thought, huh? Anyway, that wraps up this week's episode of Culture Speak. I hope you're enjoying this podcast series. Thank you for listening. See you next time.
A rich man's world. I have turned the soul of this beautiful land, but the